Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 Prestige class. And today we are going to the Expanded Psionics Handbook once again. And today we will be discussing the War Mind. Now this is a Prestige class that my friend has been raving about. He really likes his Prestige class, and I can kind of see why. So we're going to talk about that. As always, we're going to start off by talking about what the War Mind is. Then we're going to talk about what it takes to get into the Prestige class. Then after that, we're going to go over what this Prestige class actually gets. And then, of course, we're going to follow that up by, is it any good, and how to use it in a build. So let's get into that. So first off, what is the War Mind? Well, it's basically a combination of psionics and martial prowess. Basically, it's someone that uses psionics to improve their martial abilities. And it does focus more on the martial side. The psionics is a little bit weaker. It's a little more complicated than that. There's some cool lore that goes with it. Definitely want to check that out. So let's look into what the prereqs are in order to get into this. So first off, you need a base attack bonus of +3. Pretty easy to do, especially if you are a fighter. So really easy to do. If you're Psychic Warrior, which I think is what they were going for this, then you can easily have that by 5th level, so not a problem. Of course, if you're an actual fighter, you're going to have that by 3rd level, but you are going to need 5 levels to get into this. Next up, you will need 2 ranks in Knowledge History and 8 ranks in Knowledge Psionics. Now, the 8 ranks in Knowledge Psionics is the reason why you're going to need to have at least 5 levels before entering this, because that's just how it goes. 8 ranks requires you to be at least 5th level, so you'll need that. And that will be a little tricky to do with like a fighter or something. Also, you need to have a power point reserve of at least 1, so that's something. And then the special one is actually a little bit of a trick. So that one, let me read this here. It says, you must have had some instruction by another war mind, have access to the Telleric texts, or belong to an organization that has access to the Telleric texts. So this is one where the DM can easily make it so you can't get into the Prestige class. Easily say, hey, yeah, there's no other war minds to teach you, or you don't have access to the Telleric texts, or an organization that has access to the Telleric texts. You're just kind of out of luck on that. So that one can really bite you. But if your DM works with you, then great. So let's talk about what this Prestige class actually gets. It's a fair amount. First off, they get a D10 hit dice, which is quite good. One of the better hit dice in the game. They get a good base attack bonus, which is really nice, getting that nice full base attack. They have good fort and reflex saves, but a bad will save. Alright, so far pretty dang good. They also get powers. They get a number of power points, decent number, and number of powers per day that come from the Psychic Warrior list. And it is wisdom based, just like the Psychic Warrior. They're not going to get anywhere near as many. They're only going to get, if you're optimizing, 2 first level and then 1 of each additional level, and only up to 5th level. But that's not terrible. The selection is limited, but this class isn't primarily a manifesting class. It's mostly a martial class. So getting that is just a pretty nice bonus to all your martial prowess, because you are going to be fighting with swords a lot. So you're not going to need as many powers. You get a decent number of power points, so it's a little lower than a lot of other psionic classes with only 70, but it's not the end of the world. Alright, so let's also go into skills. So in terms of skills, it's only 2 plus int. The skill lists could be better, so that's problematic. But let's start going into some of the extra stuff that they get, because this stuff is actually pretty good. So they are going to get Chain of Personal Supremacy, which basically just lets them get an insight bonus to Strength and Constitution. Initially it's a +2, but it goes up to +4 eventually, and this lasts for a minute per level, and it's a free action to do, which is really nice. So you don't have to waste any action economy activating it. You just can do it, and that's a really, really good thing to have. Then they also get Chain of Defensive Posture, which gives them a +2 to AC, and then a +4 later. It's another insight bonus. This one, you're going to find other things that'll stack with it, so it's not super, it's not always the best, but, because you're going to find other things, insight bonuses to AC from other things potentially. So, you may or may not be able to use this, but still, you can use it 3 times per day, lasts a minute per lasts a minute. So not bad. Then you get Enduring Body, which is really nice. That one just gives you, this one doesn't even take an action. Like those other ones are free actions. This one doesn't, and it was only limited to 3 times a day. This one, it's just always on, and it just gives you DR, initially 1, but it'll eventually go up to DR3. And that's DR/dash, the same as a Barbarian gets. Really nice. Then the really, really good one that they get at 5th level is Sweeping Strike, which basically makes it so that anytime they make a melee attack, assuming they have not moved more than 10 feet since the end of their last turn, which is an interesting requirement, but if they haven't, any melee attack that they make, and they can do this multiple times a turn, and includes attacks of opportunity and cleaves, it specifically includes them, they can, instead of just targeting one creature, they can target 2 adjacent squares that they threaten, and they can attack creatures in both of those squares. So you can basically, assuming 2 creatures are standing immediately next to each other, attack 2 creatures with 1 attack. I mean, you get to make attack against both of them. And if you drop either one, it counts as a cleave. So if you happen to have like Cleave or Great Cleave, particularly Great Cleave, you can make way better use of it than normal, because you can, attack 2 different things in range, and if you drop either one, then you can cleave, and then you can attack 2 different things in range with that. If you drop either one, you can cleave. Now, if you happen to drop both, that still only gets you like 1 cleave. You don't get 2 free cleaves for 1 Sweeping Strike, but like you can keep that greater cleave going much longer, because you only have to drop 1 of the 2 things that you're striking. So much better odds that you'll take it down, that you'll take 1 of them down and be able to get more and more and more strikes. Like for instance, you take 1 guy down, hit the other one, but don't drop him. Okay, then you get a cleave. So you go for the guy that you didn't quite drop, and some other fresh guy, attack them both with that same cleave. Drop that first guy, or I guess second guy. Maybe don't drop the third one, and then get another cleave. Go for that third guy, and then now a 4th guy, and you can just kind of potentially keep going at this. It's more likely that to last than just a regular cleave. So it makes Great Cleave much, much better. Same with Cleave. Or I guess just Great Cleave. Regular Cleave, you can't really do that. But it makes Great Cleave much, much better. And yeah, it's a really, really good ability. It can also be used, as an attack of opportunity. So somebody moves in, you can potentially attack him and his buddy as he moves next to his buddy, and hit them both. If you happen to have the knockback feat from the Races of Stone, you could potentially just send them both flying with that. So that could be really useful. Yeah, just a really, really good ability. Yeah. Then they also get Chain of Overwhelming Force. That one's okay. That one just lets them once per day choose as a free action to add 10d6 damage to any one of their melee attacks, which is not bad. Like, it's good, but it's once per day, and 10d6 it's decent damage. It's equivalent to, you know, third level spell, you know, like Fireball. That's the damage that'll do at max level. But it's once per day, and if you miss the attack, then you don't do the damage. So, and it's not an amazing ability, especially for like their final like cap ability, but it's not bad. If it wasn't for the fact that, you know, you get your 5th level powers at 10th level, I'd suggest maybe not going the full 10, because that is just kind of underwhelming for you know, a cap for a prestige class. But everything else is really, really solid. I could see it working pretty well with the big guy with knockback build that I have, instead of using the Psychic Warrior to go Warmind instead. Yeah, the big issue I see with Warmind and trying to put it on a pure melee build is trying to get 8 ranks in Knowledge Psionics. That can be a bit of a trick. That's not going to be a class skill for pretty much any melee character other than a Psychic Warrior, so, or like a Soul Knife, I guess. So that's a bit of an issue, but I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world. There's ways to make it work. Like, there's feats you can take and various other things. Like, I know with human you can go able learner, although if you tried going that route, that's also problematic because you need the PowerPoints. Then you need, I guess, another feat. So that can be difficult to get into this class without taking, you know, I mean, you could always just take a 1 level dip in Scion, or a few level dip in Psychic Warrior or something. I mean, that works. It gets you some more powers per day. It would get you some more power points, and some more powers per day. So that would be helpful. I mean, the casting levels don't really stack with this in Psychic Warrior, but still, not the worst idea. I mean, the way Psionics works, PowerPoints you can use from one class to another, no problem. So that's not a huge issue, and you know, they both come from this get the same list, so it should get you a little more variety, especially if you're early level powers. So you'd have, you know, more to choose from. So that's one way to do it. The lack of base attack bonus of the Psychic Warriors makes this a little worse, because you would want this prestige class is better if, you know, you put it on something that has a full base attack. The trick is, things with full base attacks, it's gonna be a trick to figure out how you're going to gain those 8 ranks in Knowledge Psionics. I guess one option is just wait till even higher level. I mean, I guess that works. You know, just keep that maxed until you get much higher level. So instead of 5th level for those 8 ranks, I guess you're looking at what, 16 minus 3, 13th level. I mean, that's kind of rough trying to pull that one off. Again, I mean, I guess with something like Able Learner, maybe. But then, like I say, to get the PowerPoints, you either need a race that already has them, or you would need, you know, some psionic prestige class, or some psionic class, or to take a feat to gain you 2 PowerPoints. So, yeah, there's a lot of catch-22s. Trying to enter this class optimally is a trick. It can be really good, but trying to get in is a bit of a challenge. And I think they did that on purpose. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. I think it can potentially be an amazing prestige class if you can find a way to get in that doesn't ruin the build. That would be the best. Psychic Warrior, not a bad option, but it doesn't stack super well. I know it was designed for Psychic Warrior, but the synergy there just isn't quite there. Yeah, I think it'd be much better suited for like a fighter or a ranger, or potentially even like a barbarian or something. Yeah, I think that would just be a better option, all in all. Yeah. But yeah, trying to figure out how to make it work on one of those without, at least dipping like one level into Psychic Warrior would be a bit of a trick. Or I guess if you're just doing one level dip, might as well go like Scion. Get more power points, some different spell powers. Yeah. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the Warmind. It's quite an interesting prestige class. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. That really helps out. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, because I am going to be doing one of these on every single prestige class, as well as race and class in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, so definitely check that out. Ring the bell, because YouTube is terrible about notifying subscribers. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you